Welcome back, persistent hikers, to glimpses of our California parks. Today we will visit the Central Coast region of our California parks, encompassing 55 of over 400 diverse public, state, and federal parks, and their related units located within our Golden State. Santa Cruz Island is a 62,000-acre 22-mile-long island, one of 5 that make up the Channel Islands National Park, a water-only accessible park maintained by the National Park System. Located 68 miles off the California mainland at Santa Barbara, this park unit was established in 1980 to protect the Channel Islands and submerged land for 1 nautical mile offshore. A sanctuary area extends for 6 nautical miles was also established to protect the diverse marine life surrounding each island. Santa Cruz Island contains 2 indigenous animals found nowhere else on Earth, the island fox and the Santa Cruz Island scrub jay, along with many plants endemic to the island. After a quick breakfast, time to check in at the Ventura Harbor for our 1.5-hour Island Packers scenic catamaran ride to the island. As I've stated before in prior Channel Island videos, getting there is half the fun. Passing by some national park boats, we leave the harbor and enter the Santa Barbara Channel, where we get our first distant views of the Channel Islands. Our destination today is the largest of the 5, Santa Cruz. As with prior channel crossings, a pod of friendly bottlenose dolphins quickly check us out and ride our bow waves through the open waters. The national park uses Island Packers as their water access concessionaires for park visitors to access the islands. The Santa Cruz Scorpion Anchorage trip takes approximately 1.5 hours one way, depending on the weather and marine life viewing stops along the way. The folks and crew at Island Packers are friendly and helpful. Their boats are clean and well maintained, as I stated with my Anacapa Island video. Their scenic island boat trips have helped make Channel Islands my #1 California National Park destination. Take it from the persistent hiker, even if you remain on the boat to take either their wildlife or whale watching cruise, you're going to enjoy yourself. Very sociable and playful mammals, bottleneck dolphins form friendships that last decades while they hunt, mate, and protect each other. They can keep up with most boats' bow waves by swimming up to 22 miles an hour, or roughly 20 knots. They make the channel crossing an entertaining adventure. The persistent hiker documented this park unit in the month of October 2023 in hopes this short video and informative commentary will entice you and yours to come visit this remote, scenic, geological island federal park unit in the near future. After a while, we get our first views of the northeastern side of Santa Cruz Island, the Scorpion Anchorage area. The pier here has been recently remodeled by the National Park System. This new pier is stronger, safer, and contains a movable lift section which can access the boat's loading platform area in most normal conditions. This has made the boarding and deboarding safer and more friendly to those of us with walking mobility issues. Thank you, National Park Service. Now get to work on rebuilding the Santa Barbara's loading dock so I can visit it next. Stepping ashore, we are greeted by a park inhabitant, no doubt looking for a handout. After a short walk, we arrive at the historic Scorpion Ranch complex, where we find exhibit areas to include an orientation quiche, a blacksmith shop, lots of farm implements, and a visitor center located in the 1800s ranch house. Horse-drawn equipment of the late 1800s and early 1900s, such as carts, mowers, gang plows, seeders, hay balers, and other early farming equipment on display remind us of a historic period of self-reliant and pioneer perseverance. Take a few minutes to check out the visitor center and the period items of this remote, early pioneer farming lifestyle. Here you will find early Chumash Indian information, island plant and animal displays, an early cast iron kitchen stove with cooking utensils, some original adobe building blocks, along with many images of early island farming life. After walking around the ranch complex, checking out some of the farm's gardening remains and fruit trees, we readied ourselves for the 2-mile Cavern Point Loop Trail. We began hiking uphill from the ranch before realizing it would have been easier using the clockwise route. It was a tough climb for us, with a lot of brief senior respites during the 300-foot ascent to the island plateau overlooking the Scorpion Anchorage. Serves me right for not catching this clockwise reference in the park brochure. A 2-mile hike with a 300-foot elevation gain. I know what you're thinking, all you younger, healthy hikers. At least I'm still out doing, instead of sitting around reading about your experience. Besides, age is only a state of mind. I plan on enjoying every minute I have left, if you don't mind. As long as the persistent hiker continues to manage the next park experience, I'll motivate seniors to join me in living life to the fullest. And speaking about living life, what better way to enjoy our senior years than getting outside, breathing in fresh air, and visiting a few of our 400 state and federal diverse California parks. Just look at these views and picture yourself standing at this overlook, enjoying a sunny day on Santa Cruz Island, 68 miles away from the mainland, 1,000 miles away from your obligations, and 1,000,000 miles away from your worries. The Cavern Point Loop Trail takes us across the lava plateau, amongst native plants and rocky outcroppings, along a dirt track to reach a wood-lined bark pathway leading us to the top of Cavern Point, facing north towards the vast Santa Barbara Channel, while overlooking magnificent ocean vistas, rocky cliffs, and hidden coves. A remote, desolate island landscape sitting atop ancient volcanic rocky peaks that formed from plate tectonics millions of years ago. Porous lava rocks abound all over the scenic overlook. Here we discover a silent world, absent now of human machinery, human intervention, and human destruction. Overlooking the 68 miles of the Santa Barbara Channel, separating Santa Cruz Island from the California mainland. Only the squawking of a lone seagull and the salty ocean breeze reminds us it's real, and we're lucky enough to be experiencing it. We take a final glimpse from the Cavern Point overlook, enjoying the moment, listening to the sounds of crashing waves, breathing in the salty air, relishing the experience while acquiring lasting memories. It's now time to leave this scenic spot and join up with our trail to venture along the cliffside before turning back towards the camping area just outside Scorpion Ranch. At Santa Cruz Island, one can find pristine beaches, rugged mountains, lonely canyons, grass-covered hills, and some animals and plants that you can never have seen before. Some say Santa Cruz Island is a miniature of what Southern California looked like over 100 years ago. At 61,972 acres, Santa Cruz is the largest Channel Island. At 22 miles long, it spans from 2 to 6 miles wide. A central valley splits the island along the Santa Cruz Island Fault, with volcanic rock on the north and older sedimentary rock on the south. Both the National Park Service and the Nature Conservancy preserve and protect the island. The islands attracted seafaring people long ago. 13,000-year-old remains of a human leg bone were found on Santa Rosa, recording the earliest known human presence in North America. Over time, the Chumash Indians settled on these northern islands. The region's temperate climate and bountiful natural resources later attracted Spanish explorers, missionaries, and ranchers. In 1793, Captain George Vancouver gave the islands their present names. In the 1800s, fur trailers searched the coast for sea otters, seals, and sea lions, nearly hunting them to extinction. After leaving the rolling scrub-covered trail, we enter a rocky ravine pathway, which leads us to the Scorpion Canyon Campground, where we walk amongst tent campers while strolling under the shade of mixed woodlands, to include the tall Santa Cruz Island ironwoods. I can only imagine the thrill of camping under the stars on this remote island, with the freedom to stay overnight and no day-only boat departure timeline. Campers can hike the many trails offered on this, the largest island in the chain. Leaving the campground is just a short walk to the Scorpion Ranch. We pass by more rusting farming equipment, a side section of the fenced-in farmhouse property and garden, some exotic flowers, and one indigenous Santa Cruz Island scrub jay. Measuring 13 inches, the island scrub jay is distinguished from other scrub jays by its large size, almost 1/3 larger than its mainland cousin. Darker blue in color, and with its distinctive call, it's only found on the Santa Cruz Island. Of course, we were visited by the largest members of the crow family, ravens. Wherever there's a chance to snatch some human food, these guys are first in line. While taking a short rest, we were suddenly visited by a wandering island fox. I got the feeling the ravens weren't the only island creatures looking for human leftovers. These 4-pound cute carnivores became the island's top predators. It is believed they descended from the larger mainland gray fox and made it to the island more than 18,000 years ago. With the arrival of the golden eagles in 1990s, the foxes experienced a rapid decline in population, from over 1,500 to fewer than 100 in less than a decade. Conservation groups began an intensive science-based recovery project. Today, the island fox population stands at more than 1,300. As we meander back towards the boat dock, we take a few minutes to check out the small but rocky Scorpion Cove and volcanic cliff walls. While waiting for our return boat, we can observe overnight campers enjoying swimming, snorkeling, kayaking, and even scuba diving in the clear blue water. Along the beach, one can walk amongst a vast array of volcanic and indigenous rocks. Some of the unique rock patterns remind us of a violent history of our own San Andreas Fault. The collision of the North American and Pacific plates has caused the Channel Islands to not only uplift in the past, but rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, which is why the island's ridges run east-west. The rugged, rocky cliffs attest to millions of years of relentless ocean waves, storm erosion, and changing ocean levels. I wish to acknowledge my usage of the information park guides and brochures, along with the on-site park rangers and docents who helped me gather information needed for this Glimpses presentation. I turn to Encyclopedia Britannica, Wikipedia, and Dictionary.com as my go-to sources for any additional in-depth information needed. Our boat trip back at dusk gave us some wonderful sunset views, especially from the Ventura Beach, looking out over the ocean towards the Channel Islands. Don't forget to click the subscribe button to catch the latest park units we visited, along with special trails we've taken.
Hope you enjoyed this park adventure. Take the time to visit our sponsors and become a monthly donor, assisting us in documenting each of our diverse federal and state California parks. By becoming a member of the Persistent Hikers and wearing our Glimpses patch, you are informing the young generation that we seniors still have the capability, although limited, to enjoy our parks just as much as they can. Until our next California park adventure, happy trails.